I just bought my mom a T-shirt that has a shirtless Tom Selleck on it.
Nice. That's awesome. Shirtless Tom Selleck.
Yeah, it's like has one like he's in the background like smiling like normal, and then there's another him with his shirt off right in front. Like so, it's like two faces, like him bigger and then him smaller. It says Tom Selleck.
Nice.
She always had such a crush on him.
Oh my gosh, Mr. Mustache.
I mean, he was sexy. He's a sexy beast. I give him that.
I know. Should have got us all a shirt like that.
I know. I'm like, I could see it if I leaned that way. I could see it.
Hell yeah.
Created by human.
Tim, guess what why he was running late today?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Take a guess. Just guess. Why was he running late?
The
thing that always makes men run late.
Oh, sex?
Oh, well, close. He was trying to.
What?
Well, no, not that. He was trying to get close to sex. So to start with sex, you got. I mean, to get there, you got to go on a date.
Right.
Josh was on a date.
He was on a date.
Yeah, I had a quick date, quick lunch date over in Canton, Georgia.
Afternoon delight.
All right, so you had a date. Man, what's that? Where'd you meet this lady? What's going on? Give us a
Hinge.
deets.
Actually, it's my first dating app date.
His?
Mine.
What'd you say?
Huh?
It's the first time he's met somebody from a dating app.
Yeah, I joined it like a week ago. I'm already on a first date, and it's awesome. So we're already going on a second date.
I thought when you joined those apps, though, you could go straight to sex. You didn't even have to date.
Oh, that's like
Tinder, isn't it?
That's like
Grindr?
Grinder and Tinder.
I thought Grindr was
Lily.
That's
like
for
dudes on dudes.
yeah, it's primarily homosexual.
Yeah, it's
Right.
So there's a lot of
Homosexual
straight
community.
guys on it too, from what
Really?
I've learned. Oh yeah.
Trying
Okay.
to hook up with the lesbians.
I tell you what, one thing
gay
that'll freak
men.
you out though, when you think that Grindr is just for homosexuals, and then you see that because we have Apple everything, so we get notifications when our kids try to download an app. So when when you get a notification from one of your kids that they're trying to download Grindr, you go, what?
That's so awkward. You have to like have
Like, are you okay? Are you number one? If so,
Yeah.
whatever. Two, if not, what's the deal?
What are we talking about?
Grinder.
Yeah. Oh.
All right, okay, so back to your date. What's the deal? So
Yes.
so you sign up on this app,
Right?
Which app?
God, Hinge.
Oh, Hinge. Oh, that's
Is this the one with
that's-
Will Smith?
It's the one that's designed to be deleted.
No. That's
Isn't
Hitch or something. The movie.
Oh yeah, Hitch. That's right. Wait, so this app is designed to be deleted?
After you find a girlfriend, you delete it.
I think that's what you're
That's
supposed
their
to do with all
advertising.
of them. But
They're like, one thing is that we want you to delete this app after you
no, I
meet your
mean
loved
it's
one.
cool. I mean, I don't have experience with the apps, but it's neat because you have like pictures and then you have these little prompts. So like, what's your irrational fear? What do you go crazy for? What do you see on my mom's refrigerator? And it could be like a picture of like a family picture or something. So they give you prompts and you can like any of the images or you can like any of the prompts. And so it gives you an immediate conversation starter. Like some of them will be like, "Hey, where was this picture taken? Tell me of a time that you have a travel story or something." So you'll have these prompts that you can put, and I get it. It's kind of cool. It actually comes in useful because it gives you a conversation maker right away.
So did you reach out to this lady, or did she reach out to you?
She
Or is it a dude?
did I
Or
like
what's
her
going
first? Oh, right. No.
So what do you do? So
But yeah.
So you
Because
go
if you
through
like
there-
their picture, it will come up as like a match. Like, oh, so and so liked your picture,
Okay.
and you can either respond with a like and a comment,
Okay.
or you can just exit, like just say X. And
you could
just-
say, okay, that's cool. You like me, but I don't really like you.
Yeah,
I don't find you.
So
attractive.
whenever I open the app, I have likes, like girls that have liked my pictures or my stuff, or they might like, she ended up not liking the picture. She liked, I had wrote like one of the prompts on my profile is, what's a casual thing you like to do? And I said, chill out in the hammock, with a nice beer and watch some deer.
Hell yeah.
And just relax. And she was like, oh, and she liked it. And she's like, oh, this is definitely my vibe. And that's kind of how the conversation started. And so you start messaging, but she was super cool. So she gave me her number pretty quick.
Okay.
She's like, I just want to make sure you're not a serial killer. And I was like, well, I do about one a year.
Nice. One murder.
So I don't know if that labels me as serial. And
no,
then she ends
not
up,
if you do one a year.
She ends up being like a big proponent of like serial killer podcasts. And so I'm sitting here like, yeah, you're worried about me.
That's why she's worried. It's all in her head. Right.
Right.
That's incredible, she's the serial killer.
She's probably listening to our podcast right now.
Did you tell her about it?
One. Yeah, I told her what I was going to go do. And she's like, oh, that's cool. I love podcasts. I'm going to stalk you even more.
I have a serious question about this way that, you're meeting somebody online through an app. Now, this is all great because it sounds like you can see some stuff from them. You kind of get a little bit about them before you start communication, right? You can see photos. You can kind of see things that they've said. However, if both people aren't attractive, does this ever work?
If both people aren't attractive?
Yeah. Like if there's not, okay, I guess my thing would be if I went on there and I'm scrolling through, I'm not scrolling through just looking for nice people. Like I'm looking for somebody who's good looking. And then from good looking, I go, okay, yeah, this one seems cool. This one seems funny. This one seems nice. We're into the same thing, but good looking is the starting point. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm probably a little bit, I don't know how to put this. Like the smile does it for me. Like they have to like have a casual, like a natural smile.
Okay. So if they don't, if their face is all cool, jacked like up, but they have a good smile. Good.
Well,
like if they're cross-eyed and their nose is really crooked, but their smile is on point.
I'll give them a shot.
Josh, I don't feel like this is true.
I like a flair. Not just like, I'm pretty. Yeah. I like dogs. I hope you like dogs too, which is a thing. Ugh.
Yeah.
Every other woman that pops up is like, I hope you love dogs. I hope you're a good dog dad.
You not like dogs, Josh?
I do. Josh. It's their world.
I think it's a way for people to
I'd be very popular on that phone app.
Yeah,
I'd be like,
Tim, if you guys don't know, Tim's got like 17 dogs. They all sleep in bed with him and Michelle.
No, they don't.
Oh, okay.
Although one did last night because he shit his kennel.
Damn it.
And then,
he shit his kennel and then you put him in bed with you?
No.
Todd's worst nightmare.
Oh my gosh, I'd lose my mind. Get this shitty dog out of my bed.
He shit his kennel a couple days ago. It was so bad that I left it outside.
Yes,
okay. I haven't touched it since.
I used to do that to my children.
And since then, I have given him a bath. And yes, he sleeps with us now until I've been hard working on videos and other things. So that's been the last thing on my mind, going and water pressure washing a dog kennel.
Dried up. Shitty dog kennel, frozen because it's cold.
Frozen
now.
At this point. Yeah. I don't know what he ate, but man, it looked horrible. And it smelled even more horrible. Our whole house. I was like lighting matches for a half hour just to get that match smell, Get
that sulfur smell.
But I was going to say something about the dating scene. I heard, Josh, there's a thing going around on where men don't like women with fillers anymore, which is a very good news to me. And I think to women out there, you don't have to go and get all that plastic surgery done, So women who are natural, women who are more...
Yeah, I think that's always been the case.
I think it's always been that. But like for whatever reason, there's this like craze right now where women are like, trying to make their lips look like Fat Albert and and their butts are out to they're just like
Kardashian.
5 feet away from their waist, and
well, I've never been into that.
I haven't either. But the message from what I read is that, hey, stop doing that. Fillers are out. Guys don't want the fillers.
but did they ever? I feel like that's been a girl thing. I think girls look at the popularity of somebody or the look of somebody like Kim Kardashian and go,
right.
Oh my gosh, that's like that is beautiful. And it's not that it's not. It's just that
overkill,
I think guys have always liked more of a natural look on a girl. And in the end, it's not our say. Women clearly do whatever makes you happy, right? But I'll tell you what, ladies out there, most guys, I think all three of us sitting here,
all natural,
would prefer all natural. Yeah. I mean, really, like if you wanted to put makeup on, like put makeup on to where it's not even noticeable. It just really enhances.
Don't cake it on
what's already there. Yeah. I mean,
I have a friend out in Idaho, man. She's an incredible makeup artist. She's pretty without the makeup, but boy, when she puts on her makeup, it's first of all, it's a lot. It's like very thick. So she's good at it. So she looks completely different.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as it's like if you were to get married or something and you start taking out your false teeth and, your wigs. You're going to scare the poor guy.
Josh, from Shannon's pictures on the app to real life, she catfish in real life.
Yeah, she catfish you.
Yeah, unfortunately, I saw her Instagram too. No, so I saw her Instagram too. No, she I think she looked better. She did.
Come on.
Oh, she did. I mean, again, in person, people are always better, in my opinion, because they're. Sure. I mean, they can be bad people, but you just get the full on. It worked. I mean, and that's when I said flair. Like you could tell it in her picture. She had that kind of flair about her.
Yeah.
And she was texting me a lot. Like she was really forward and really like asking questions and so that was really cool, like taking initiative at that, like not being shy at all. So all those things definitely came through when we met in person. So I was like,
let me ask you this though.
Yep.
So from her like texting you quite a bit, did you not see that as a sign that maybe this woman might be a little needy?
She flat out came out and said, I'm a super independent person.
Well, people who say that they're super independent means that they're not. Okay. Josh, we're just setting you up for worst case scenario.
Right, man. Right.
By the time this thing airs, you guys will probably be married.
And there's a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Well, and there's a little bit of that with like if they like text you a lot and where you're like, oh, I forgot this is part of the package. Like you're gonna have to help process through all this stuff, and when she calls, you answer. When it's and especially because I live with two girls right now. Thank God one of them's moving out. Love them, but it's just a lot because you just it's a lot. Mm-hmm. They process a lot, and I mean, and guys do. I mean, there's guys who do the same thing. But it is one of those things you had to kind of realize when you're dating. You're like, oh, I have to also keep up with all the texts and keep up with the calls and keep up with. I've got to be like on par with this stuff.
I would imagine too that the older you get and you haven't really settled down with that person, like this is my fiance, this is my wife, this is my long-term partner. The older you get, the more you get set in just your day to day, right? Because when you're younger, when you're 18, 19, 20, 21, you still don't know really what you're doing. So you're still figuring it out. So when you find somebody, then you guys kind of develop together, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But when you get a little bit older, I would imagine that would be harder, like I would be, if I'm used to not really texting people back right away because I do my own thing. And then all of a sudden I'm dating and I've got to be responsive. And at this age, I don't know that I'd want to even be that responsive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because how young were y'all when y'all got married?
I'm trying to think.
26
here. Right. I
think my parents were 24, which is late for, well, y'all aren't, that's probably about right for your generation.
Yeah, I was trying to hold off.
Tim, I was probably close to your age. I was probably 25, 26 when we got married.
So y'all were still relatively, I'm talking like the people who are like, teens or they're like early 20s. I mean, they're growing up with these people. Like my buddy Zach. I mean, they were together at like 18 or he was 18 and she was 20, I think. But I mean, they grew up together. Like they had to evolve together because they still had a lot of growing up to do.
Oh gosh, man. And I guess that, like you said, that would probably be a benefit of being older and getting with somebody, because the growth.
No, we talked about kids, and we already. Oh man, like
here it is.
We already talked about all that. We talked about faith. We talked about having kids. What we thought about it. Yeah, we go straight into that shit.
Did you? I guarantee. Okay, I'm going to throw this out there, and if you guys did talk about this question, if this question came up, you guys are the soulmates. You guys are together forever. Did you guys say, do you think if we had kids, would they have red hair?
We did not have that conversation.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, Josh. It's not going to work out.
I feel like she would probably win. Blonde hair and red hair. I think she would win.
Like how red? Like
be like
Scottish
a strawberry
red?
blonde. I don't know.
Ooh.
Strawberry blondes though. No, and she has and her hair. I mean, I know she probably dyes it some, but it's that kind of maroon red. It's that deep red.
That Scottish red, isn't it?
I feel like every time Michelle and I, my wife, got together, we would kind of have that moment where I was like, I didn't say it to her, but I'd go, I'm probably going to marry this girl. Do you feel like you've had that, Josh, where you're like, second date, third date, you think you go,
not yet.
Well, not just with Shannon here, but just yeah.
No, yeah. If you ever had that with any girl, I have for sure. And that's the girl I married.
Helen was probably the closest one, and I was still young, and I mean, I was not young. I guess I was 23, but man, I still want to see the world. Y'all know me. I mean, I was like, I still have the world to see and things to build and things to do and things to start. I was a little entrepreneur. So, I mean, so that wasn't even in my head. Nothing against her. She was phenomenal, but I was not on the same page. I was still moving forward. I still had, and which was good because unfortunately we didn't. And she was probably the closest person that I probably could have settled down with. But it would have completely changed my life. My life would be looked very differently than it is today, probably.
I think there's a lot of that with your generation. I mean, there's a lot that aren't getting married until they're
in their 30s,
mid 30s. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Having kids, late 30s.
Yeah, it's kind of a problem.
Well, I don't know that it is. I mean, I don't know that it is, to be honest with you, because there's so many marriages that have happened. I mean, if you look at the divorce rate in our generation and our parents and my parents' generation, the boomers and the Gen Xers, if you look at the divorce rate there,
isn't it?
Well, it's high. It's high simply because we were all kids getting married.
We were all kids getting married, and also we had this expectation that the 80s movies taught us that,
sure.
Well, you got to find your love. You got to find the love of your life.
And it's going to be perfect. And then when it's not perfect, we go, well, this isn't the one. I guess this isn't the one. And we don't realize that, you can't just jump. There is no perfect. Perfect is what you create, but it has to be, the expectation has to be realistic at the same time. So I think with I don't know. I mean, I kind of look at it with your generation, Josh, that maybe waiting is the right thing. I think the only big question for your generation is, do you want to be 60 with 16-year-olds? I mean, seriously, and that's just a question.
Keep you young, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I guess so. I mean, I just look at it now, like even at my age, like, would I want a toddler? Obviously if it happened, it happened. But I don't know that I would want one. I don't have the energy, for it. I would have to muster up the energy.
And but at the same time, years ago, you also have 3 kids already.
I do. Yeah, I do. So. And all my kids are at the age to where they're young adults, you know what I mean? Almost, where I've got 17, 18 and 24. So
I think when it comes to kids, that's the hard part. Because especially with women, of course, it becomes more problematic. And fertility rates universally are down. Like it's a thing. It's not. It's I don't know if I would call it a phenomenon, but it's going on right now. There's a lot of people struggling, even young people.
Sure.
So I don't know what's going on
with. Oh crap! What's that movie? There's a movie about it where Children of Men or whatever.
Oh, with Clive Owens.
And they can't have kids. It's very rare.
I'm not sure. And I did, and my sister probably super encouraging. We all we get into our 30s, we're like, oh my gosh, like did I wait too late? Is this, I'm getting too old, and you always have that existential, as we all do. Y'all have your own existential angst about stuff, especially with the lives that y'all lived. And I remember her saying, Josh, it just means we skip the first marriage,
Well, that's
which is scarily
maybe, dude.
true.
Maybe.
There's a lot of people we know that have that just jumped in and they. I don't know.
I know a lot of people who have been married a couple times.
Yeah.
I'd say in faith-based communities, it's definitely been a problem in the past because kids are so freaking horny, and their youth pastors like, "Well, you got to get married first," and so they're like,
Yeah.
Well, fine, I'll get married to him, but and then I'll, go crazy.
And even from like the limited experience I have, like, I mean, and this is men and women, but women have very specific expectations in the Christian world. And that can really scare them when it doesn't start working out. They think it's going to, and it can really shock people. And then they think something's wrong. And it just becomes a whole moral thing. And I think their expectations are unhealthily.
No,
I don't know how to say that, but they're
no,
they're too high, and it's not healthy.
Yes,
it's genuinely
your
not a healthy
expectations
thing.
Too high and unhealthy.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Everybody needs to just chill out, realize it's not going to be a fairy tale. Just find somebody you can hang out with, and 80% of the time it's great. There's going to be like 10 to 20 where it's not.
Yeah, I mean, it's media's fault. It's the fact that we watch movies and shows and we see all these things that it's supposed to be, and it's all it's supposed to be is two people creating a life together, and that's what it's supposed to be like. But movies make us think all these different things of what it's supposed to be like.
I think they've gone away from it, but definitely there was an era of time where it was like, okay, that's not realistic. Right.
Yeah.
Then you get into the 90s, it starts getting grittier. And then by 2000s, we're in it with real, Ray Romano marriages.
And Roseanne.
But even the movies like Judd Apatow and all these other writers, they start putting it out there. That's like, okay, here's what it's really like. Right. Like, what is there? There's a movie, This Is 40 or something.
Oh yeah,
where everybody's just kind of trying to make it work,
Yeah,
they love each other, but it's tough. It's not easy.
Yeah,
more realistic view. Well, man, good. I'm glad to hear you're finding love, Josh. That's exciting, man. I hope that you guys
someone doesn't get killed.
Did you guard your hearts?
Guard your heart, Josh.
Guard your heart.
That's such wise words, though. I mean, truly, it is. Guard your heart.
It is.
I mean, who says that? Not many people say it. I know. But that's what I'm saying. No, not many people say it. They should. Guard your heart. Guard your heart, man. She starts coming after that heart. You cut her down.
Your life.
You got to guard it.
Cut her down, Josh.
You guard your heart.
Shannon, if you're listening to this,
you guard your heart.
He's not calling you back or texting you back. He's guarding his heart. Okay.
He's guarding his heart.
Okay?
Not gardening, but gardening.
No, not gardening. Gardening.
I've guarded it pretty well. I mean,
good job.
I'm pretty confident about who I am.
Oh, damn, Josh.
Man, so
it could all change too.
Well, it could. It could. Talking about change, I'm going to change the subject.
Good segue.
You're welcome.
Good segue.
You know what we're going to talk about today, guys?
Time traveler?
No. Changing it up.
Oh, wow.
Serial killers.
I wanted to throw it off a little bit.
Honey badgers.
Honey badgers. That's it.
Okay.
You guys?
I have to go. No. What are we talking about, Todd?
Well, today we're going to talk about, let's see if you guys are familiar with, we're going to talk about Kap Dwa. Do you know who Kap Dwa is?
No.
Kap Dwa is a two-headed giant.
Really?
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about some giants, and we're going to tell the story of Kap Dwa.
Kap
Dwa?
Kap Dwa.
So come on this journey, everyone.
K-A-P.
Kap Dwa.
Kap Dwa. K-A-P-D-W-A. Kap Dwa.
Oh, it's one word.
No, it's two words. Kap
Dwa.
Kap Dwa.
Where is this at?
Say it like me, Josh. Kap Dwa.
Is this
Kap
like
Dwa?
the?
Kap Dwa?
This makes me think of the. You remember? This is real. This is. I'm talk about nerdy, or well, not even nerdy, childish. The guys on Sesame Street. Remember those guys? You know they talk like this, and they had the horns. One had a horn, had two horns. One had horns.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Remember that they were a Kap Dwa. Remember them? Weren't they connected? I'm pretty sure.
I think they are.
Maybe
They were connected. I totally forgot about those dudes.
those guys. Jim Henson teaching us about Kap Dwa back in the day
Thanks, Jim Hansen.
on Sesame Street.
Oh man, yeah. So Kap Dwa. Josh, let's dive into this, shall we?
Okay.
Countless people have claimed to encounter giants throughout history. Greek titans, various Norse giants, the Chinese giant of Pangu, and the biblical giants of Goliath and Anak are all examples of stories of extremely large beings in different cultures. This has led many to wonder if real giants ever existed. One example, which has been suggested as a possibility, is the giant Kap Dwa. Kap Dwa is alleged to be a Patagonian giant discovered off the coast of South America. The body is unusual not just in its gigantic stature, but also in the fact that it has two heads. Could this giant be real? It is scientifically plausible, but its association with P.T. Barnum and the fact that it has not been examined by experts called this giant's authenticity into question. Kap Dwa is said to be 12 feet, 3.66 meters tall, the body of which is in a museum in Baltimore, Maryland. It is said to be a Patagonian giant. Patagonia was considered a land inhabited by giants for a long time. The legend of Patagonian giants goes back to a story told by the explorer Ferdinand Magellan. English sailors offering bread to a Patagonian woman giant. That is a little picture that they have online here. And these giants are huge, man. They're 12 feet. I mean, I think like back then, average size of a man wasn't even 6 foot, right? Like 5'6" was probably average back in the 18th century.
Yeah, definitely. A lot shorter. Nutrients were different, you know?
For sure. But some of these depictions, these drawings, I mean, they're huge.
Well, I think even in, Genesis, we have the accounts of people talking about the spies going into land to the land of Jericho or whatever, and coming back and telling Joshua that we were like grasshoppers to the people there. You know, they were huge, and that put a lot of fear into people. Or maybe it wasn't even Joshua yet; it was Moses, right? They were going to go do it, and the guys came back and said, "We better not. They're pretty big." Or, I can't remember who said what, but you know what I'm saying. It's in there where there's huge people, right? Mm-hmm. Two-headed, it's not maybe so common, but I can't see why you wouldn't have a giant. If you already have a giant, that I would imagine that's somewhat of a deformity, maybe. You know, it's like the odd thing, right? It's like this, usually based around some sort of medical thing with their bones.
Yeah, it's gigantism.
Gigantism and whatnot. And then, if you throw in the fact that maybe you have a Siamese twin, you know, at that size, then you've got the two-headed, whatever. What is it called? Kap Dwa? What are they called? Kap Dwa.
Kap Dwa.
But yeah, that's an interesting thing that, you know, Ferdinand Magellan. Right? Magellan?
So Magellan and his men stopped on the beaches of South America and went inland to explore.
South America.
Yeah, South America. Patagonia, South America. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, Patagonia. Right.
Alone? I mean, we all know Patagonia from Alone. Right? I mean, that's true.
Yeah. There's a lot of bamboo there.
A ton of bamboo. Amazing.
Kind of neat.
I know. So as they explored, it is said that they encountered natives that were twice the size of a normal man. It's probably because a few of the indigenous people of the region do happen to be taller than the average European was at the time. That's just what we just said that. So we're pretty much smart. So This height difference may have been exaggerated, leading to the long-standing European myth that Patagonia was the land of the giants. So basically what they're saying here is European men were kind of small in general. So, if you run across somebody who's, let's say, even 6'2", that's a giant. Well, today, that's kind of average. Apparently, there are two conflicting stories of the origin of Kap Dwa. According to the first, Kap Dwa was encountered by Spanish sailors in around 1673 on the beaches of Patagonia. He was captured and taken onto their ships, where they strapped him to the mast. Josh, you have a sailboat. Could you strap a giant to the mast?
Yeah, he might bring it down. Depends on how big.
Okay.
How big? Well, if the mast, if it's one of Magellan's ships, yeah, I mean that's how they just tied them to the mast, so they keep them. I don't know. That's weird. Okay, I guess I would probably put them under. I don't know. Okay.
Well, it goes on to say that when he got free of the mast, he skirmished with them and was killed by a pike piercing his chest. After this, his body was mummified and stuffed and eventually made its way first to Britain and later to the United States in the 19th century, where it became the subject of many sideshows and freak shows as a spectacle of the unexplored world.
Right up there with the fossilized mermaid guy. Merman.
The second story is that the giant was found already dead on the beach with a spear through his chest. In this version, his body was found by Paraguay natives who mummified the body and worshipped it in sort of a religious ceremony. At some point after this, the British schooner captain George Bickle heard about it. He infiltrated Paraguay and stole the body. After taking the body, he brought it with him to Britain. I would kind of be like this, I'm on the shore. There's this giant. I bring him on the boat. He gets free. Now I'm guilty of him getting free because apparently I didn't tie him up well or whatever. So I kill him, and now I get back to Britain, and they're like, "Who killed this giant?" No. We found him like this on the beach. He already had this spear.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah.
Oh my god,
they were worshiping him.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe this.
We almost had the unicorn, but didn't quite.
Got away. Got away.
Yeah.
So both stories end the same way. The body ends up in the hands of showmen and added to their collection of curiosities. There is some disagreement over the authenticity. Some believe it to be genuine, and others are convinced it was a hoax.
These giants really had a hard time finding female companions, I'm sure. I bet they would do a lot better nowadays, using apps like Hinge. And
If you had two heads, is that two personalities?
Yeah. Isn't there a story? There is a modern day story where there's a pair of Siamese twins that got married.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing.
To different guys. There's what a weird tale that would be.
That's an
right?
automatic foursome right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of freaky, if you ask me. A little too freaky.
Yeah, why don't they do movies on that?
Maybe they will.
Oh, no.
Maybe you will. Maybe you should.
I feel like I need experience first.
Yeah. Okay. You need to see the world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so, I mean, yeah, I've heard tales of giants before. There's lots of interesting conspiracy theories and stuff around them. Two-headed giants, definitely a little rarer in my discussions. But I do think it is a possibility, definite, that there were giants that were huge because of just the history of it, beings playing with the genetics of humanity, right? Beings such as angels, I guess we'd call them angels or aliens or whatever, playing with the genetics of humanity by taking a little bit of them and throwing it in our DNA. And then you hear the tale of how we've got these guys who are 9 cubic feet tall and, David and Goliath and, other tales like that, Gilgamesh, and you got, all these things. I've even heard, well, heck, maybe that's even why they thought they had Hercules and Zeus and, the gods, right? They were these tall beings. Tales of the Smithsonian, though, back in the day, not wanting to deal with the narrative of why they found huge skulls in the ground, and they basically go, take these skulls, throw them in the deepest ocean you can find. Let's not bring it up ever again. I don't know if that's true. Have heard that before because it's just so odd and just wouldn't make sense in the narrative, right? It would take away from the, oh no, then there were dinosaurs, then there were people, then, it kind of takes away from that narrative. Because if it is true, it's a phenomenal find. Native Americans, right? They would say how, and you would hold up your hand, right? And anybody know why that would be the case?
Why is that? They
would do that to count fingers, I guess. They would kind of to see if you were a giant or not. Or one of the beings that aren't human.
Because apparently giants had 6 fingers, right?
Yeah. There's a whole family I found out too the other day. I'll have to show you the article. There's a whole family that are all genetically disposed. They have all of them, like the mom and dad. They're all holding up their hands, 6 fingers, 6 toes. They have 12 digits on each, between their hands and their feet. Kind of interesting. Nowadays.
You think that's why we got the whole dozen? Like,
probably
everything's a dozen because giants back in the day had 6 fingers,
maybe
on each hand. Maybe. So everything was a dozen, right?
Yeah.
Like today,
perhaps.
It makes sense that we said, we sell everything in tens.
Yeah, I know that doesn't make. Yeah, you're right. Never thought about that.
What the hell, dude? Well, I think we just figured out another mystery.
So weird. But yeah, like it goes on. Like there's just so many things. Like it's amazing how many tales of giants and. Or even like the whole quest for Bigfoot. He's a giant, wouldn't he be? He's what, 8, 9 feet?
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Oh, big dude. And I think a few podcasts ago, I don't remember me bringing up the fact that there may have been even an altercation in Afghanistan, in the mountains of Afghanistan, between some of our troops and a giant.
It was in a little valley mountain region, like with a giant.
Yeah, and they had to fight him. It took like several of our special forces. They finally take him out, and there's the only way they were able to prove, the only way you were able to even see this was somebody was doing a artist rendering, because they didn't want him taking photos or anything. So he's just like a good artist. He sat there drawing a sketch of the being being placed into a box, a crate, and after the firefight was over, him the body being carried away for study. Far away. There's even a thing the other day about a person had captured a very tall individual standing on top of a mountaintop. So he was miles away, but you could see him, and he was way up there on the top of this mountain in the photo. This was recently I read this, and that same guy, I guess, had been talked to by the CIA and was told to shut up about it. Take that photo down and don't talk about it. Kind of interesting. So who knows? There's really an interesting mix of theories about it. It's a kind of
absolutely
incredible.
I mean, the truth is that we know that some level or some form of giant exists even today. I mean, we know that there are very large people that are out there, and I guess the question is it from this I guess genetic deformity that causes gigantism, where these people keep growing, which is truly unhealthy. I mean, like their joints and their internal organs can't sustain the growth of their body.
Yeah, so the tallest man in the world. I mean, he died young, right? He didn't die. He didn't live that long.
And we're actually about to talk about him. So it's just fascinating that there is a certain level of that. I guess what this question really comes to is, was that commonplace? Now it's odd when we see it. We go, oh my gosh, wow! Like
giantism,
gigantism. Yeah,
acromegala.
That's it.
Which is
Back
what
row.
Andre the Giant had.
Yeah, he would have been
yeah.
definitely
Which-
with that.
Which he was only 7 foot something. He was
Yeah,
like
man.
super tall. He's
Big.
not, not like he wasn't,
Yeah.
too.
But I
That's
mean,
still
even
big.
that's the
That's
thing is,
huge.
even at 7
he was
foot, like,
he was just a big guy. In
well, how
general.
tall is Shaquille O'Neal?
Probably
I don't know.
probably about the same.
Let's see here. Shaq.
Because 7 feet and something, that's more common.
Yeah,
That's
Shaquille's
common.
7'1", dude.
Yeah.
That's I don't
Still,
even think
though,
I've been around somebody that tall.
But what's
would weird me
interesting when
out.
you think about that height, like it sounds big, when most people are around 6 feet, right? I'm short, but when most people are around 6 feet, another foot doesn't seem like a lot. Like it doesn't
Head.
when you think
Yeah,
about
just
it.
head.
But
I've
it
been
is, dude,
around
like,
people who are ahead. Oh yeah.
but when you see somebody that goes from 6 foot to 7, everything is so much bigger. Like their waist comes up to your like neck, like their hands are twice the size of yours.
Mhm.
It's just insane just what happens when you start even just going a foot and a foot. Well, talking about Tim, how you brought up the tallest man. So the tallest person in recorded history, for which is indisputable evidence, is Robert Wadlow. He was born in 1918 and died in 1940. He was 8 foot 11 inches. That's 2.43 meters tall.
That's so
And
big.
still growing when he suddenly died at the age of 22.
Wow.
8 foot 11 inches. Dude's almost 9 feet tall. So again, we just talked about from 6 foot to 7 foot, like everything enlarges so much. Well, now go from 7 to 8, right? Now go from 8 to almost 9. So as far as it goes, every bit of recorded anything, there are pictures of this man, there are videos of this man. Like it's indisputable that Robert Wadlow lived and that he was 8 foot 11 inches tall and that he was still growing when he died at the age of 22. Mind blowing.
You kind of want to look into his family lineage and, if you could go back, like ancestry.com, the guy, go back and see, how far you could find like what was in his past, there's some sort of connection to like a different bloodline. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's amazing. Yeah. I didn't know he was 8'11". That's crazy.
Yeah, 8'11".
Wow.
That's that'd be scary.
Yeah. Although
God, you
people
just
have
to
found
all the ducking under doorways.
Forget clothing, all that.
Hitting
the world's not built for
chandeliers
you.
and-
the world's not built for you at 8'11".
You
The
aren't
world's
getting
not
sitting
built
down,
for
your
you at
knees would.
7.
That would suck. You couldn't probably. It depends on how long your legs were. You couldn't like really scoot under a table
Yeah, he probably had to have a special table made.
or
And
sit at
he had
a bar,
a
a
cane.
stool.
He had to walk with a cane because it was so
Yeah.
hard on him. Like it was just
Yeah.
hard on his body, all that weight and height. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I've thought about this sitting on the couch. Just kind of bored. You think about like all these different dog breeds we have, right? You have Chihuahuas, and then all of a sudden you got these, fast little greyhounds and German shepherds. They're all dogs, right? They're all canine. And you get into the Great Danes, right? They're the giants of the dog family, or the Mastiffs, right? They're all dogs, but we've just bred them over time differently to do different jobs, and I wonder if the same thing could apply to the human race, right? I mean, obviously it could. We're basically different human breeds of people walking around. We've got our different heights and different blood types and different
Different
skin
noses.
tones and noses and eyes and all that. All still human, but we've got that subtle variation. Climate has a lot to do with it. Who knows? Just kind of where we were, what we were eating, what triggered in our genes that we just didn't have control over. It's just kind of an interesting little thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, even mentioning that, like, when you start talking about different species or different dog species and all that kind of stuff, I mean, there are technically, there are 15 types of human species discovered to date. 15 types of human species.
It's not a lot.
Well, hold on though. That's insane. When there's only one today.
Well,
There's
what is
only
there?
one today.
No,
The
I'd
Homo
say
sapien.
they're still here.
No.
Oh, I
Species,
get what
well,
you mean. Like
species.
Okay. What I mean
right?
is, like, even with the Homo sapien, though, where we ended up, we still have the tall people who have got bigger bone structure. You still have the people who don't. Right, the tiny little frail, wafy, elfish people, right?
No, the elfish people, yes.
The little elfish people, like
oh,
me.
yes, I've seen them, yes.
Yes.
yes, elfish people, yes.
There was a story of a guy I guess he lived in Ireland. He was struggling with dwarfism, and he was going around Ireland. This is like a real thing. This guy you got to do a documentary on or a fake movie about. I'm sure that'll happen. Speaking of making movies, but this guy was going around to women saying if they had sex with him, he'd show them where the pot of gold was. And he got in trouble, of course, for doing this.
Well,
I thought
who got
that's
him in
brave.
trouble? Who got him in trouble? Come on.
Probably one of those Amazonian women.
No, that's
over there in
crap,
Ireland.
Man. That dude, if I'm sorry, I would do the exact same thing. If I was a dwarf, I would do the same. I would be banging Amazonian women left and right, telling them I'd show them to the pot of gold. And the second that we were all done with the deed, I'd be like, I don't know where the pot of gold is, and they'd get so mad, and I'd be like, are you dumb? Are you literally dumb?
That's just
Isn't
wrong,
that kind of what guys do anyway?
Yeah, we just
I will make your dreams come true.
Girl, I love you so
I never
girl,
did that.
I love you so much, girl. I tell you, girl, listen,
Me too.
if we were to get together, girl, I can make you the happiest girl in the world. Well, do you have a job? No, I ain't got a job right now.
But
do you have a car? No, I ain't got a car. I'm in between cars. I got a guitar and a desire to love you for the rest of my life. Well, I'm in, honey. Let's do it.
Sounds very specific, Todd. I feel like there's some experience.
Tell us what you
there.
want.
No, it's just, dude.
Todd's definitely the player out of the three of us.
Well, no, I've seen that a million times. I've seen that a million times, guys. No joke. Some young lady who's got her life somewhat together or figuring it out. Some deadbeat dude who still wants to act like a kid, and he talks that girl into everything, giving him a place to stay, giving him a ride everywhere, giving him money, but he loves her so much. But he also loves this other girl that he just got pregnant. Sorry.
Yeah, that it's not my life. That's not my thing. Never was. I'm pretty lame when it comes to that. I always wondered how those guys did that, though. I was like, man, how did those?
It's a
guys,
mindset. I could never get myself into that mindset. It was. I was always
alpha
just too
males
sensitive
out there.
People. You have to compartmentalize yourself. You have to switch gears, and you're in a certain mindset. You're in a you have to like kind of not. I don't know.
Do you think
gotta,
that pheromones have to play? Like, there's
separate your emotions from it.
They got better pheromones than me.
Better pheromones, yeah.
They got they're just teeming with pheromones.
They're just filled with
spilling out of them, literally.
Yeah.
Wow. Dude, I don't know, because I've known some people that are just like you would look at them and go, "There's no way any girl would fall for any of this." And sure as shit,
and they do.
7 women later, 12 babies later.
Yeah. Horrible. I mean, I don't like it. Sorry if you're out there and you do that. I mean, hey, I'd still have you over for dinner and we'll talk. But I don't know. It seems just kind of mean.
It is.
I'm a fan of women. I want to treat them nice. Give them a good life. So found one. I did. I didn't have to do much more than.
Tim, thanks for giving her a good life, Tim.
I'm trying.
Give her
a
good life.
Give my women a good life.
Give your ladies a good life, y'all.
Give them a life.
Just
Free Giants.
Free Giants.
Free Kap Dwa.
Free Giants.
So is there any more to the Kap Dwa side of it, or is that, because that seems like that's the rare giant, right? That's the weird tale of like the ogres and.
Well, I'm glad you asked, Tim. Yeah, I'm really glad you asked, because although people have found that people over 8 feet tall exist. I mean, we found that.
We know
people
this. Yeah,
notice that. We know this.
This is a thing.
But no living people or skeletal remains, for which the evidence is beyond dispute, have been found that are 12 feet tall. Although it may be possible for a human to grow to that size. Increasing health complications make it more difficult for someone to reach the height and survive. I mean, remember, we talked about old Robert Wadlow. 8'11" at 22 years old, his body gave out.
Yeah.
But was
and
still
he was
growing.
Truly a phenomenon. He was famous, I bet, at the time.
He was famous.
Everywhere
absolutely.
he went, everybody was talking about that guy.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. People and animals with multiple heads, though, have also been identified. We've seen that. One of the ways that conjoined twins can form in a condition called, what was it called, Josh?
Acromegaly.
You guys are going to start casting spells here real quick. You're not careful. You're starting to sound like Hogwarts. Hogwarts over there. Yeah. Agamothagotus.
Acromegaly.
Acromegaly. Gaggly.
That's a different word than here.
Or giantism. Giantism.
Giantism. Right. I'm gonna try to skirt around this word. I don't know what it is.
Thanks.
One of the ways that conjoined twins can form is a certain disease. I don't know what it's called.
Gabbity goo.
Gabbity, in which the twins will appear to have one body and two heads. Again, most cases do not survive infancy, let alone to adulthood. But there are a few rare cases that do. The two most famous examples would be the Italian brothers Giovanni and Giacomo Battista Tacchi.
Let's just call them the Giovanni brothers.
Giovanni and Giacomo brothers. Forget about it.
Two more Italians, we should have made a video game out of it.
Yes, absolutely. And the American sisters from Minnesota named Abby and Brittany Hensel.
Yeah,
they're
the ones I believe they are the ones that I was talking about. They had a boyfriend. They had which is crazy.
Yeah, because they're still alive,
right?
Yeah, and I do wonder how that works. Like, that's fascinating.
I think they have a reality show, or
I remember seeing there was a documentary or something about them. So the chances of surviving this type of conjoined twin is increased if their vital organs are doubled so that each twin has a separate heart, stomach, set of lungs, etc. It is thus possible for these twins to become biologically successful adults, but it is very rare. Of course it would be. You're not joined by skin, right? Just skin between the side or whatever.
Like you're literally fused.
You've
got skeletal. You're sharing skeletal bone structure. You're sharing, or maybe one of your ribs
sharing kidneys.
Develop, but her
sharing
ribs
those kidneys and those livers and that heart. Is it one heart? One heart?
Sometimes.
I
doubt it.
Sometimes
I think they have two.
Yeah, they have to have two.
Stomach. That would be a difficult one. How do you share the stomach?
Oh, would you have two? Oh man, no, there's so many questions. So many questions.
I know, right? I know.
And then are you embarrassed to shit in front of the other one?
Well, yeah, I think you get used to it.
Yeah,
obviously.
you get used to that.
I think you.
Good grief! Oh man,
what happens when one's tired and one's not?
I know.
Do they have two assholes? This gets bad.
This is complicated.
These are all things I want to know too. I'm embarrassed to say I have to go up to Minnesota and talk to the twins up there.
Talk to the twins, man. Figure it out.
I don't know.
No offense or anything. I'm genuinely fascinated.
No, I think all of us are. I think we all, because we're so boring and normal.
How would you? Yeah, we are so boring. Like, how would you live a life? How would you adapt to normal life?
Yeah,
whatever that is.
I think would be a truly great question, and maybe they answered in some of these documentaries with these girls. But who controls what? So if you have two heads and two brains, but let's just say, a left arm and a right arm and a left leg, you're sharing the rest of your body. Like, who controls what? Like, is that a true struggle? If you're sitting down on the couch and you're watching a film and one's like, I'm done with this, I'm going to get a snack. And the other is like, I'm watching this. What happens? Who controls the functions of the body? Which mind?
Yeah.
Is there
talk
a
about
primary and then somebody else is just the ride along?
Yeah, right. That's true. I mean, and talk about like there's no ever being alone, right? There's the one. I bet those girls are probably just like, man, I wonder what it'd be like to just be alone for an hour, right?
Oh my gosh,
You're
sure.
always stuck with your sister. Like
Always.
if you had an argument, she pissed you off. What? Where are you gonna go?
Nowhere. I mean, you just shut your eyes. Shut your eyes.
I mean,
you just leave the room. Shut your eyes.
Shut your eyes. Stop looking at me.
Shut up and shut your eyes.
Shut your mouth and shut your eyes.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, it'd be so weird. And as I not to be morbid, but what if one side of you died before the other? Then it's like, what do you do, right? Because like say the other one got brain trauma, right?
Well, that's what's interesting because like they said, there's some that are out there that probably share all the same organs. Now, if the heart stops and you have one heart, you're both going to die. But you're right. What happens when you don't share all the same organs?
Well, like a
you have
brain
two
trauma.
hearts.
Let's say one gets concussion and the other doesn't, right? Can you imagine? Because, okay, neurological damage is horrible. Like I knew some people that were really friendly and they fell off a ladder and then something changed, right? They just were weird.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And can you imagine like your twin who's conjoined, was out with you and she gets hit by God forbid, a hockey puck or a fast eagle bird flying around. Something happens and causes brain damage. Now you're stuck with that.
Fast bird.
Well, what's going to be something? A hockey puck? That was okay. Maybe they get hit the head.
Two super specific.
One gets hit the head by a boyfriend by a wrench. He didn't care about the other one. He's like, "You're good," but that she gets brain trauma, and the other one doesn't. What happens, right? You're stuck with like the comatose or at least really, really odd version of your sister that she used to be nice. Now she's mean. You
can never get away from her.
She can't remember how to count or say her ABCs.
Well, what if the other one is just truly a bitch? Like just the worst person ever, and you're with her all the time.
Yeah, and you're just like completely opposite.
You're just like this most loving person. Everything is rainbows and butterflies.
I wonder if these girls have ever had an Enneagram test, where everybody's freaking out. I'm an Enneagram 8. I mean, are they both on the same page there, or is one like a, Enneagram 8, the other one's Enneagram 2, and they're just those, those great
it'd be interesting to see how their brains, because obviously they adapt together. Because in all these concerns we have is only from experience. Well, we're
as an
separate
individual
from people.
Yeah,
but if I mean, even when like my sister and I, we grew up together, we're very close. She's very different than I am, but we've adapted so well that it works. Like we don't really get in big fights ever.
Sure, but you can also leave the room.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I mean,
that's a big deal.
It's just you kind of learn to adapt with each other. Like you kind of know how each other ticks, and you just kind of move along.
Okay, so what you're saying is you have if you're conjoined like that, there is no separation to get away from that person. You have to figure out how to make it work. And you probably, I would imagine,
know how they think.
And imagine you probably have to do that at a very young age.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. I mean, you, even though you have different brains, you have to know how the other person thinks. Like they can even feel it. They can know what they're going to say before they say it. Because they've grown
they're probably
up doing
it. They're probably like the
twins.
Yeah,
how twins have
twins
that kind
of, finish each other's sentences stuff for sure because they're so.
You're
connected.
Right. Yeah, because one's probably like, I've got to shit, and the other one's like, dude, I have to shit too. And, oh my gosh, that's because we have the same intestines and butthole.
Yeah, and we just ate today together.
I love it.
Dude,
boy,
please don't eat that spicy stuff. I love spicy stuff. Please don't. We share an asshole.
I'm going on a date tonight. Don't eat curry.
Yeah. Don't stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
I feel like this is just a topic we should just almost not even talk about. It's almost offensive,
I know.
Well, I'm not trying to be offensive.
We're not.
I'm honestly curious.
I'm worried we're going to scare some people away.
You could not go anywhere anywhere without people asking the same damn questions. You would have to
Oh,
walk
at
around with
least
like a
one.
business card and just like casually
Here's
pass
the
it to
answers.
them. Please
Yeah.
read our blog. You can answer your questions there.
Yeah.
Please talk to me about something else.
Yeah.
Right. No kidding. I mean, they're the only that we know of, right? Pretty much the only people right now that have that. The two girls up in Minnesota who are alive are alone in this world. Like they don't have. Do they have any other? I mean, do they go to a Conjoined twin festival and talk to other? You know what I mean? It's like
probably be a pretty
convention
small festival.
You know what I'm saying? It's like 6 of them show up and they're all like, "Yeah, how about that, huh?"
How was your year? Awesome.
I wonder if they get along with twins. If there's like
it might have
some kind of resemblance.
Yeah, it might have
like
some
they
of
could
that.
relate to each other somewhat. Maybe I don't know.
But then if you throw in the fact that you're 9 feet tall and you have two heads, completely ruins your social game, right? Because now you're the real oddball out, right? And that guy, no wonder you have all these people back in the day trying to figure out how to make money off you. You know?
Would be mental.
Oh, absolutely. Well, yeah. I mean, right.
I would 100%.
By the way,
I definitely think, Todd, that you know, going back to the guys who found the Kap Dwa on the South American Patagonia coast, they're definitely thinking cha-ching, because back in the day, people were into the oddities, right? You know,
absolutely.
Can I get?
They were thinking I can travel the
fame
world
and
get a
fortune
shilling
traveling with the traveling circus.
Yeah.
People were so
question
bored back then. My goodness, nothing better to do.
Well, think about how we're entertained today. We're entertained by, oh my gosh, you name it. You know, we're so bored with what is commonplace today. Back then, they didn't have that stuff. You know, we have music at our fingertips. We have movies at our fingertips, and shows, and articles, and the world's knowledge at our fingertips. Everything at our fingertips, man.
We're so
back then, it was like you could go to a play, maybe, right?
But when it got past 5 o'clock and the lights went out, what are you doing? It's sex and dinner, sex and getting up for work tomorrow.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, if the Curiosity Shop shows up in town in a little wagon, you know, and you got the guy out there selling snake oil and all that, and come into my secret little hideout where you can see the bearded woman and the merman.
Yep.
You know, so yeah, if you could get a 2-headed fossil.
Well, and you know, too, everyone is curious. Everyone is curious, man. Everybody wants to peek. It's the car wreck thing, right? Like, you know, no one wants to admit, but
especially
we all want to see it. Like, we all want to see, and then we want to go, oh my gosh, that was the worst thing I've ever seen. I mean, we've all been to the county fair. It definitely makes
sense, though, as to why people go, okay, it must have been faked. And I think that's definitely the true point of this story, right? It's like, was this created by human, or was this,
absolutely,
you know, was this a real being that got killed? I mean, could have been, you could have had a guy who goes, oh, hey, there were these two tall dudes. Let's sew them together and, you know, make them look like they were, you know, single-bodied giant.
Right? Well, and that's where some of this goes from medical knowledge versus the legend of Kap Dwa. For Kap Dwa to be genuine, we would have to suppose two very unlikely scenarios at once. We would have to presume that the twins were born who had yet another rare and lifespan-reducing disorder, gigantism, and they were somehow able to overcome all the health problems related to both conditions and become full-fledged adults that were strong and healthy enough to engage in combat with a band of sailors. That's a lot to ask, guys. I mean, right there, we've already talked about, like, you know,
now, but hold on.
Oh, Robert was 8'11" and could barely walk.
Right. And so perhaps the question is, a lineage of beings of humanity, very, very small, but, you know, perhaps they were a dying breed because it's a hard life, but maybe there was a family of them, right? Like you know, it was just written in the genetic. Mom and dad struggled with it, right? Whatever happened, it was like a tribe of people who, you know, maybe all had the same issues, right?
Oh, for sure. I mean, like we said, this, if there were giants in our past, they could have been a race. They may have not been this disorder of giganticism. They may not have had that disorder.
Yeah, maybe
They
it
may
wasn't
have-
even a health issue for them. It was literally
But that's what
their-
I'm exactly. They were
Yeah.
just giant
Yeah.
humans.
and then
right?
of course they had a co-joined twin.
Right. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, the body
Yeah,
was
very possible.
allegedly examined by physicians in the 1960s, who said that it showed no obvious signs of being fake. No other experts appear to have examined the body either to determine if it's genuine or if it had the internal anatomy required to be likely to survive as a set of these gigantic twins.
Now, real quick on the one that, because I saw a picture there, the
Mhm.
one that I believe you're referring to. I mean, all they show is the torso up, but how tall were these guys?
These guys were 12
at
feet
least
tall.
the one. Oh, the one in the one in museum is 12
Yeah, Kap Dwa is 12 feet tall.
in the museum. The one
Yep.
that in the 60s they looked over.
Yep.
Wow, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Yeah.
were mummified, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
mummified. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So the world is so mysterious.
Well,
There's lots of-
from at least from
especially
from our perspective, pre-flood, we've talked about this before on this podcast. There's lots of options and lots of different species and people pre-flood or however you like to account for it.
I definitely
But
think the ancient Sumerian culture.
But more modern day, it's very strange that we would come across stuff like this.
Yeah.
Well, the theory
It's kind of like everything's extinct, right? There's no more of this, there's no more of that, and it could have just been one of those branches of humanity that just went away.
Oh, for sure.
Sheer numbers of it.
I
Which
think
we
it's weird.
know. I mean, I
We
think
couldn't handle
most
it.
people would agree that there were other species, other human species, just like what Todd said earlier.
Yeah. 15 other human species. Yeah.
Different others, and then again, for our worldview, it's pre-flood. But I mean, there was this catastrophe that happened that we know changed and shifted the earth. So anything prior to that, who knows what was out there.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that there was a remnant. Easily could have been a remnant of those species around. And it just wasn't until globalization where we pretty much just smoked all different kinds of people out.
Yeah. Well, we know for a fact that Homo sapiens and Neanderthals coexisted. So if that is a fact, which science has shown that around the same time frame, those skeletal remains date back to. So we commingled around the same time with Neanderthals. With that being said, why are they gone? Why are they gone? Well, a theory could be that we wanted them gone, so we got rid of them. If they're more aggressive,
Or maybe the flood got rid of them.
Maybe the flood did. But why did we remain and they not? So
because of Noah.
Noah's the best.
One little family.
One little family saved
one
everything.
Little family that got saved.
One little family with one extra woman who populated the world. Again, thanks, guys. But anyway,
I mean, who knows what kind of weirdness was going on? I mean, it's like you have. Why do we have carvings with eagle-headed beings and all that other stuff? It's like what's the what was Egypt smoking, right?
Well, I mean, all that,
all sorts of weird things like that. Centaurs and all these mythological creatures.
Well, but
right?
that's the thing, though. Is we're talking about mythological creatures there for sure. But when we talk about Neanderthals and Homo sapiens existing at the same time, right? Those are fact. I mean, we can prove that that's real. But did we get rid of them? Let's just say that that's a theory. That's one of the theories. We decided we didn't want them around anymore, so we exterminated them. We were going to be the dominant species on the planet. Why couldn't the same thing be said about giants? If there are hundreds of thousands of Homo sapiens running around Earth and there are tens of thousands of giants, and they're problems because they're coming into town, they're destroying things, they're destroying crops, they're stealing our herds, they're doing
swooping up buffalo,
taking all of our women,
the head off
impregnating
the
them.
buffalo right
They're
away.
The worst. I know. So
I mean, it could have been
so we
us
kill 'em.
versus them thing.
Maybe.
Todd.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Throw it.
I threw it.
You throw that.
It done got thrown.
Do it. You done did it.
I did.
I mean, I mean, heck, we just, like I said, the Afghanistan, our guys up there fighting a guy. I mean, who knows? Well, one, they're probably mean, right? These guys are mean. I don't think they're
probably
like nice.
assholes, dude.
They're probably real jerks. And
I
so,
know. I mean, who's making clothes that size? They don't have any shoes that size.
they don't have anything. They smell bad.
They smell awful. There's
they
no
got
bars of
gray
soap.
skin and horrible breath because they eat humans for fun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yep.
I don't want to be a friend of a giant. I mean,
they have a 6 fingernail.
Well, they have to be on the
hand,
defense
a 6
all the
toenail
time.
to clip.
they
also, and they have to be on the defense all the time, and then be asked about all sorts of questions.
Yeah, right. Like, how big are your shits? How big are your,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm going to say this. If you're a giant out there, unlike aliens, you cannot show up in my cul-de-sac.
Don't show up here
in the afternoon. I'm not, because you're just too mean. There's a reason we don't like you around.
Unless you're Hagrid. Unless you're related to Hagrid.
You're going to eat my kid. Yeah. You're going to put salt and pepper on me, or make me into Hassan pepper.
The worst.
I don't want that.
No.
Liverwurst,
Make a Tim kebab.
I don't want a Tim kebab.
Hell no.
I want a Tim kebab.
I bet you do, Josh.
I hope it's premium meat.
It probably is. I definitely have a lot of fat.
It's called gristle.
So,
lots of white meat.
That's it. Kap Dwa. At least they got somebody to kind of talk with about it. The Kap Dwas. Is that what they're Kap Dwa?
Kap Dwa.
Kap Dwa.
At least he has a brother to kind of like chill him out. But even there, he's like, they're pretty. I bet you they're pretty dumb. Like they always were portrayed really dumb, right? Like the two-headed ogres, Yeah, I'm hungry. Got to eat food.
Do you think that's how it was?
There's always one, the smarter one, right? He's like,
yeah. Oh, there's one really dumb and one very intellectual.
Yeah, usually.
I'm Kap Dwa. And the other guy's like, yes, we are Kap Dwa for sure.
Yeah.
But
now, Charlie, we don't want to go around eating the natives. They'll hunt us down and kill us.
Natives.
But I'm hungry.
We know you're hungry, Charlie. Everyone here knows.
I wish you would have never been hit by that eagle.
That damn flying eagle
hockey puck
came out of nowhere, smacked him in the head, and now he is a moron. I don't blame you for putting a spear in our chest. We're dumb.
We're so dumb. Well, I'm glad that we don't have giants today. I want to say that. They're too mean. They probably have bigger cars that would drive us off the road.
Yeah.
How are they going to get on a plane? And then if they did have a plane for giants, who's going to be able to fly around a plane full of giants?
You're right. Another damn giant. And that's a giant plane.
That's a huge plane.
Well, I'm telling you, that's the reason that
and then they would have to have their own bathrooms.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Now, that actually makes me think of something. I heard a story once about this is just silly. It's like one of those silly off the wall.
Do it.
I know. Go in there.
Go ahead. Do it.
The story was this guy had taken a wrong turn in a building somewhere, kind of like Denver airport-y, mysterious building.
Yeah, keep it up. Go.
Yeah. And he went down the elevator, and it was like, wow, this is a really long.
Where am I? Right?
Where am I going?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And he comes out, and he said that he was walking around, and it was really odd, white, sterile hallways, crazy, eerie lighting, and he just felt odd about the whole experience, He just wanted to get back up to the airport. I think it was something like the Denver airport. And he said that he walked into the bathroom. He saw a bathroom and walked in it. And he said that the urinals were huge. Like,
what? He'd
never seen a urinal that large. Like, it was just this insanely large thing.
Tub.
So maybe he'd stumbled upon some sort of alien / giantism world, But I thought about that just now.
That's interesting.
That story. I forget where I saw it. It was a really interesting little tale. Obviously, it could just be a complete,
the mystery of the giant.
Everything
urinal.
On the internet's true. Yeah, it could have just been one of those things where it's like, oh, well, you just have to take his word for it. But I thought it was pretty interesting. I think they even did a reenactment with his story. So, somebody had actually produced something with the guy telling the story about it. But
that's fascinating.
Nonetheless, maybe they are here today, but they're just, deep in a hive base under the.
There's just no way. I mean, dude, if they're here today and they're in any type of population, and today with everyone having a camera in their pocket, I mean, we would see it. That's the thing is
the resurgence of Bigfoot, man. There are people who are really gung ho on finding it, man. Like,
but then why aren't
there's
we
your
seeing
giant?
like
He's
some
another
really
giant.
good
Yeti?
He's a real hard guy to find.
Listen,
So there might be more. There's more than one Yeti out there.
I want so badly
Maybe he
to
goes
believe
into
this.
a cave system, and they have like a nice cave system that we don't know about, and they're not going to tell us. They don't want us there.
There's a lot of
they'll hunt
land up in
down.
Canada. There's a lot of land up there. So
I
there could
know,
easily
right?
be a Yeti up there.
You think so?
Oh,
Mhm.
without a doubt.
Like,
It's so easy for them to just get away up there in Canada.
Mhm.
what is the difference between a Yeti and a Bigfoot?
I don't think there is.
I think
one.
Bigfoot is a
that's-
Yeti.
Well, okay, maybe the Yeti has whiter fur.
Is a Yeti is a
Bigfoot's,
Yeti like the Homo sapien, and the Bigfoot is the human?
I
Where
don't
they
know.
both
Bigfoot, I
mean
think,
the
is just
same
another.
damn thing?
Is this another term we use for?
Yeah, I
but
think they're both
Yeti
the
is the
same.
technical term.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think Bigfoot's the Harry and the Hendersons version, and Yeti's like the real name.
Some backwoods fool that ran into a impression in the dirt, and it's a large foot goes, "It's a Bigfoot, I guess."
Yep. There
What's
you
it
have
called?
it.
What is it called?
Cha-ching.
It's a Bigfoot.
Wow, it was a big old foot.
Look
Why
at
we
it.
call
It's
it
a Bigfoot. Shit.
Is it 1 or 2 feet?
Oh no, but it's big foot.
The Bigfoot.
Shit.
We should call it a Yeti. A what?
Oh, but
Well, it
it's
has
a
nothing to do with
Bigfoot.
feet.
Well, yeah, that's a cooler. Why would you name it after a cooler?
Yeah, Yeti.
Yeah, come on, man. I ain't trying to store meat. That's a Bigfoot.
That's a
Shit.
Bigfoot.
That's a big
We
damn
should
foot.
call this species Bigfoot.
Yeah. Another problem with the Austin.
Back.
Should,
We're back on it.
hey guys, should we get back on it? Should we
Get
talk
back
more
on it. Grab
about
it
Kap
like we
Dwa?
want it. Yeah, let's do this. Let's get
All right,
this Kap Dwa going.
All right, let's finish up this Kap Dwa story, and then we'll talk about a Bigfoot. Yeah. Another
Shit.
problem with the authenticity of the body is that it's associated with P.T. Barnum, who was a 19th century showman,
Yeah.
businessman, and politician known for shows in which he would display creatures or items which he claimed to be remains of mythical creatures or from distant lands. Yeah. Two famous examples would be the jackalope and, Tim, as you mentioned before, the Fiji mermaid. P.T. Barnum was known for telling tall tales. Most of his specimens have turned out to be hoaxes, the most famous of which was the Fiji mermaid. So any association with P.T. Barnum immediately cast doubt on the authenticity of Kap Dwa.
There you have it. Created by human, everyone. P.T.
Created
Barnum.
by-
You son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch,
You
P.T.
son of a gun. You messed with me.
I always thought the Fiji merman was real. Apparently it is not. Furthermore, there is a strange art form known as rogue taxidermy, which consists of reconstructing corpses to look like mythical creatures such as dragons, fairies, goblins, and even giants.
That would be a fun job.
What's that called again? What's that taxidermy? What?
It's rogue. It's just rogue taxidermy.
Rogue taxidermy. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's a sick name. Like, what do you do? Oh, I
I'm
do
a rogue
I do rogue taxidermy. Oh, yeah. I mean,
You ever seen the people who take bugs and make them like steampunk
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
versions of the
Those
bug?
are actually pretty cool.
That's probably what the Egyptians did. That's why we have all these
Those like
paintings
bird
of
head and
bird heads,
alligator head and crocodile head. Yeah, I mean maybe.
Oh yeah, and then there's also like the I'm sure a few weird groups out there that believe that aliens were here right around the Sumerian times, and they were just like, hey, let's mess with the gene pool a little bit and figure out what we can make.
Oh yeah, I think also too.
And
I
then
mean,
they made a bear person, an eagle man, and a
imagine if some of our
centaur. And,
I mean, think about it this way. Like, let's say that our American civilization just stops, and then the rest of the world moves on and completely forgets about our civilization. And then 2,000 years from now, they dig up this thing, and it's this device. They don't know what it is. Finally, they figure out how to pull images off of it. It's actually a DVD. They figure out how to pull the images off of this DVD. And what they find is the show Adventure Time. And they think to themselves, there must have been creatures and stuff like this that existed in that time frame for them to do things like that, right? Well, I mean, isn't that kind of what we do with Egypt? Like, is that just art? Is it just art?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
is it
maybe
just
it was
a
just
human
like an advertisement for Cartoon Network over there.
I mean, who knows? Right?
Adult Swim.
But we're quick to go, okay, yeah. I mean, they must
Or
have
just
been.
their gods. It's just their gods, but obviously you couldn't really see their gods. It was just the notions.
But
Well,
even
notions
with
of
their
what they
gods,
could
that's
be.
our interpretation that it was their gods.
I think I'll we always have the history channel, where they're trying to convince us that they were all mingling out there with the gods, though. They were just kind of
That's
hanging
true.
out during the day, and that's why they were able to get such good chisels of them
Chisels.
in the
Well,
rock.
Talking about rogue taxidermy, it wasn't practiced. It's not, rogue taxidermy is not practiced often today at all, but it was popular in the 19th and 20th centuries. A two-headed Patagonian giant would have been a likely candidate for a specimen to be made by a rogue taxidermist. Kind of what we were talking about, right? Let's make this cool thing and let's sell it. I mean, dude,
And we'll trick those guys in 1960 who think they're going to find out that it's not, real.
I mean, and that's a whole different thing too. Like, okay, where's the documentation from the 1960 people that say that it was legitimate? Who knows? I mean, and maybe it was. Maybe they're just looking at it from a different standpoint. Like maybe they took two bodies and put them together. I don't know. And talk about these kind of freak shows of rogue taxidermy and doing something for the purpose of making money. I mean, hell, even when Jesse James was killed, he went on tour. His dead body went on tour in a casket with a clear lid.
Was he a Western cat?
Yeah,
that must have killed lots of people or something.
Well, Jesse James was an outlaw.
Wild West outlaw.
Yeah, from the Wild West outlaw. Yeah, did stagecoach robberies and bank robberies, stuff like that.
They took his body and paraded it around. Huh?
They did. Yeah. After he was shot in the back by that coward.
Oh wow,
They did that with Lincoln too. Didn't they send
I
his
don't-
Did they do that
body
with-
around?
I don't know if they paraded
No.
Lincoln around.
They did
Not
it with
Lincoln,
some
the guy.
they did it with a president. I feel like I just can't remember who.
I mean,
it was.
maybe. I'm not familiar with it.
People
but
were
maybe.
weird back then. They might they were all bored.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Again,
but
they
that's
didn't
hey,
have.
let's
They
just-
didn't have.
let's just
Yeah, they
mess
have
with this dead
media-
body.
Yeah, I mean,
well, I think they saw financial opportunity too, right? Like you're not going
Right.
to get Jesse James alive to go around and make you any money, right? He's busy doing his own thing.
He would have been too much of a tyrannical character.
Yeah, but when he's dead, come
Then
see
you can do
Jesse
it.
James' body for a nickel. Think about that. You can go tour around and get a few 100,000 people to give you a nickel, and that time, dude, you make some money. And you're not doing
And that's
anything.
why we
except-
have Disneyland today.
That's why. Thanks, Jesse James.
That Jesse James outlaw tour
Yeah.
was able
Yeah,
to
well,
fund the Disney family.
I'm pretty sure it was Walt Disney
And
who
Walt
took
grew
Jesse
up in
James
the-
around.
Yeah. Well, no, his great, grandma.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Pretty sure.
You think?
I saw it on the internet.
Although it is scientifically possible for Kap Dwa to be genuine as a set of these conjoined twins who suffered from gigantism, the unlikelihood of this scenario, the association of the specimen with a man known to have produced multiple hoaxes, and the fact that no one has really examined the body since 1960 all suggest that Kap Dwa is more likely an elaborate hoax, at least until indisputable evidence can be found. That's kind of where it sits. I mean, I love the story. I love the idea of giants, and I think there's some true history. I think there's some reality to there being giants on this earth. I mean, we know that there's a form of gigantism. We know that exists today, and people grow to a very large size. But I think there was a species at one point.
Yeah,
I
I think
really
you're
do.
right.
Yeah, I really
think
do.
so.
As far as the two-headed thing, I mean, we see that today, guys. We see it today. I mean, there. I looked this up earlier. There are currently 6 conjoined twins alive today. that's amazing. Is
that,
it possible?
by the way, answers how big the convention would be.
That's right. 6 deep. 6 deep.
Just 6 people show up every year.
You know, plus some family and friends.
Conjoined.
Wow.
Boy, that was a bad joke, wasn't it?
Oh, man. Tim, welcome to hell.
Oh, well.
Come on in. Sit down.
Okay. All right.
Sit down.
Well, there's
Enjoy
a
your
Kap
stay.
Dwa over there.
Hey, Kap Dwa. Yeah,
And that one guy that nobody knew where he came from.
And that's the thing at this conjoined twin convention as well. There's always that weird guy that shows up that just has the fetish with it, and everyone's like, no, don't
he
talk
shows
to
up
him
in cosplay
all the time.
He's just got a fake brother conjoined to him. It's
no
a
one
plaster
wants
Paris head with.
That dude's an asshole.
There's Jerry again, trying to be a 7th conjoined twin.
Come on, Jerry, we all know it's not real, Jerry.
I identify as a conjoined twin.
Well, that's fair,
Screw
Jerry.
you.
It's not real. It's fair.
I identify as one.
Okay.
If I identify as one, you have to respect that. So
I respect it, Jerry. It's not true though. You ever have to shit your sister's meal out? No?
And scene.
Insane.
Well, everybody, if you're a Kap Dwa out there and you want to get a hold of us and yell at us for a while, we'd be happy to do that. Todd, do we have a phone number?
We do. It's 911. Because we're about to get an ass beaten. And we're going to need some help. Right. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Well, everybody, stay safe out there from those mean giants.
Those
mean giants.
You know what? And if you do come in contact with a mean giant, especially a 2-headed one, find yourself a large bird that can defend you from their
Eagle
attacks.
Or hockey puck.
Or hockey puck.
Get a hockey puck.
Whatever.
And you use that hockey puck. Save your life.
Save your life.
Let us know. Call us up at 911.
911.
We'd be happy to hear this story. Yeah, dial something. Will you just dial something? I'm sure we have an email. Do we have an email, Todd?
We do. You can email us.
Email us at
at
Todd at Created.
You can do that, or you can email us at capdwa@createdbyhuman.com.
Let's make that. You're going to do that special little email?
It's already been
for
made.
them.
It's ready.
Well, there you go.
If you are a Kap Dwa, email us.
All right. Well, that's about it for me, Todd.
And that's it for me too, guys.
Josh, good luck with your girl, friend
Josh.
thing, or your friend that's a girl.
I do want to say this, just in case by the time this airs, Josh, you've destroyed your relationship with Shannon. I just want to say, Shannon, I'm sorry, Josh has destroyed the relationship with you. Now this is take two. Now, if it's worked, I want to say, Shannon, it's been so great having you as part of Josh's life. He is chippier, happier, smells better. There's all these things that are better about him now that you're in his life.
You've made him better, Shannon.
You've made him better.
And we just want to thank you for that.
All right, so then let's go back to the first one. Shannon, now that you're out of his life, he is happier. He's better. He smells better. Anyways, okay. All right. I'm done. Guys, Shannon, bye.
See you, everybody. Have a great week. Have a great day.
Love you guys.
Love y'all.
Bye-bye.
Be sure to subscribe to the Created by Human podcast. Leave us a review. Follow us on our socials at Created by Human. Head over to createdbyhuman.com for additional information. Sign up on our mailing list and check out our Created by Human swag. Does it just sound like gibberish? We'll be back next week with an all-new story that is sure to make you question, is it true or was it